Welcome back to the Modern Woodcarver Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and today I'm joined by two makers who continue to raise the bar in modern woodworking. Joining me are Marika and Sara, the creative force behind Estrapala Woodworking. Over the years, they've been steadily building something truly special. Their work is bold, layered, intentional, and more recently, their exotic wooden sculpted butterflies have been capturing serious attention. The color, the combinations, the shaping, and the dimensions. It's instantly recognizable, but what really stands out to me is their growth. The way they've refined their skills, the way they've pushed their designs further, the way they've built not just beautiful pieces, but a strong and evolving business behind the scenes. They're consistent, they're experimental, and they're always leveling up. Today, we're diving into their journey, how Estrapala began, how their style developed, what it's like building a woodworking brand as a duo, and where they see it all going next. Marika, Sarah, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here.
Happy to be here. Hi.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed your introduction with your your New York accent. Not used to hearing our names pronounced
Yeah.
with the New York inflection. It was very lovely.
Is it? I don't think I sound too New York, but
It's not super thick, which is weird because when we were talking to you before we started recording, I didn't really hear it. But when you started doing your introduction, it's definitely peeked through. Did you notice it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it was super cute.
yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
It 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 co- it comes out more if I get angry. And then you'll hear that real heavy New York accent, but yeah.
Well, we won't go there.
It's all good. But yeah, I've been following you guys since early COVID, which I guess is around the time you guys kind of started your Instagram or your business.
Yeah. Yeah, I started woodworking before Marika did. And it was right around 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. So it was good lockdown therapy. And then, I hooked my wife into doing it too, which was I like to say one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to get her hooked on it too, because then there's no
Yeah.
longer I need this new tool. It's we need this new tool. Oh, look at all this really cool wood we could get. It's always we, so it's much more makes them up for a much happier marriage.
Yeah, that's great to have that. No hiding tools and hiding lumber purchases and
One
Yeah, not
but
anymore.
now
no,
you,
no, but she still gets mad at
yeah,
me because I do
yeah.
most of
But
the
now you have to share your favorite tools, which kind of sucks.
This is true, and now she's takes some of my specialty wood, and she's like, "Oh, we'll just get you new," and I was like, "But that was mine." So,
I know.
we have our own little
Yeah.
s
We have our hands-off spaces. She told me I could use it, but apparently she didn't realize that meant I was using all of it. So I need to buy her some more. It was
here, look.
Vera wood, which is hard to find, but there's also not many woods out there that are green. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing a while ago on one of your Instagram posts or stories that you guys each had a dedicated workbench.
Yeah, she's, very clean and calculated and meticulous, and I look like a raccoon came in and just spread stuff around.
Yeah, before I started working, I spent about 20 minutes just putting clamps and glue away when I got into here. Because, like, if I'm in the middle of a stressful glue up, I need to be able to find my clamps.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's kind of nice to have that combination though, because she'll clean up after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice for the one that's being cleaned up after. It's
So
great
what
though. It's
really
fun.
made you guys get into woodworking? I know Sarah, you said that you started first, but what was the main focus behind it?
So I have a background in art. My undergraduate degree is in art. I was in drawing. I didn't really do much three-dimensional, never took any coursework in woodworking. Um, so I've always liked making things. And then when I finished my PhD, I really wanted a nice desk. I like, I didn't want anything that felt fake or plasticky or gross. And then you start looking at what real furniture costs, and it's like, I can't afford that. So, my mother-in-law bought me a beautiful walnut slab live edge, and I figured out how to turn it into a desk. And that whole process of just taking this raw piece of wood and hand sanding bandsaw marks out of it was one, it was very therapeutic because we had a newborn. But just watching the wood transform, it was completely addictive. And I was like, now I want to make that for my house. I want to make that. I want to make that. And it just spiraled from there. I wanted things. I had ideas for making things, and it's just a bug that wouldn't, an itch that wouldn't stop itching, no matter how much I scratched it. And it's the same to today too.
Yeah, I think that kind of gets all of us woodworkers and carvers kind of hooked. We just see things that we want to build and we just run with it, or we see ideas online and we want to try it out. And eventually, something you guys did, it was venture into the exotic wood world, which I think is
Yeah.
probably the best move you guys made because your stuff is i- incredible. I mean, it's so beautiful and gorgeous, everything you guys do. And not just because of the type of wood that you chose, but because of the craftsmanship behind it. You guys have a tremendously high level of attention to detail. Um, and you do
We appreciate
It's
that.
yeah,
really
and
wonders with those.
it's definitely a stylistic trait that we both share is the attention to detail and the craftsmanship, and the wood, I think, unifies us both in how inspirational it is. Um, it's the wood that keeps me going. Like, I spent the first 30 years of my life doing art, but not with woodworking. And it always seemed really hard. Like, I have a new idea for a new painting or a new drawing or a photography project, and it felt a lot harder. But once I discovered wood, it's just easy because I'm so inspired by the materials that we use. And we've been grateful or lucky enough to find really good resources to get the craziest wood you could ever imagine. We're very resourceful. We spend a lot of time on social media and in the local communities, finding people who are unloading old collections or buying scraps off of people who, like sawmills or exotic wood importers. And we've just amassed a pretty massive collection, and it is just, for me, it's endlessly inspirational going into our storage room and just shopping. Like, I want to do pink today, or I want to do green, and I stole the green from her. Or I want to do something with burl today, and I just pull a burl cap off the shelf. Like, it's incredibly. I'm grateful for this opportunity and profoundly inspired by it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you're incredibly lucky to be in an area where I guess you can source those types of materials. I'm in an area where it's incredibly difficult. Um, I, the only way for me to get that is order it specialty online, and it's incredibly expensive.
Hmm.
Um, I've looked out here and there where I've had some people gift me some really nice pieces, but they're really small, and there's not much I could really do with them other than small little um, projects out of it.
We have a place that's about 2 hours from us, and they are, it's called Exotic Wood Zone, and that's all they sell is exotic woods. And I mean, it's like a warehouse, and you literally, we've spent hours just walking around, and it's every and anything that you can imagine. Um, and so that place is really great. We also met somebody whose late husband was a wood turner for years, and he had barns and barns full of exotic woods that he had collected over his lifetime. And um, we were fortunate enough to get in touch with her and be able to purchase some of those and some items that you can't even really buy now. Uh,
Like a lot of exotic rosewoods that are mostly in my personal
Yeah.
stash. Like, I'm sitting here looking. I have this tulip wood butterfly that I
Wow, that's
recently.
beautiful.
This is for myself. Like, the really fancy wood that's rare or hard to come by. Like, I make it for myself, or my mother-in-law. She really loves the butterflies, and just through getting to know mine and Marika's journey through woodworking, she has a really strong appreciation for rare and exotic wood. So I love making things for her out of wood that, I can't bring it to an art fair. One, because I like people aren't going to know that this is like banned from import. You can't get this anymore, how expensive or rare it is. So
Yeah.
charging what it's worth is really hard.
Yeah.
So when I find things like this, it usually
Yeah.
goes into my personal stash. Yeah. Marika was talking about Exotic Wood Zone, and one of my favorite experiences going there. We'll usually go if we're in St. Louis for any reason. So we go through, and I in my mind, I'm like, I need to find a prize, like, because it's just dusty shelves or giant crates that you dig through. It's so much fun. So I wanted to find the prize and I wasn't finding it. And then Marika goes in like some hidden corner of their warehouse on the bottom shelf covered in dust. She finds African blackwood burl, like huge slabs of it.
Wow.
And I don't even know if they knew what they had because we bought like 3 slabs of it. And I'm telling you, we paid peanuts for it. So I've got a big stash of
That's a
those
lucky
too. I haven't
score.
done anything with yet. I mean, it's so beautiful, like lifetime score.
That's amazing. I love hearing stories like that. And Marika, I'm curious how you kind of got into it. I know Sarah introduced you to woodworking, but what kind of make it explode for you and become pretty much your full-time job next to parenting?
Yeah. Yeah. So while she was getting a break from having our infant and enjoying herself, and my breaks didn't really have any enjoyment. It was just a break. And so she was like, do you want to come and help me? And I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, and then I started to enjoy it as well. And I think it took me a while to kind of find what I wanted to do. I was just kind of building things that I could build. And actually, we were using a community wood shop at the time, and I
I remember
started
that.
working there. Yeah, I started working there, and I started teaching woodworking classes as well. So that was not on my radar at all. But over the time, I was making cutting boards, charcuterie boards, some of those kind of more basic intro items. And then what really took off for me was when I started doing jewelry. And my earrings are kind of my pride and joy. Because I mean, there are plenty of people that make wooden earrings. But for me, it's something that I can showcase. I don't do the carving. That's all Sarah. So it's kind of like my thing. And I can take full ownership of that part of our business. And I enjoy it so much.
Well, and it also gives her a reason to hoard wood. Like we've legitimately developed a reputation in our local woodworking community. We actually have a really good community in Central Missouri for woodworking. And we will every couple of months will somebody from the woodworking clubs will just bring a box of scraps over. It's delightful. So somebody who does like segmented bowl turnings, like she'll turn their cutoffs into earrings. Like she'll repurpose all of their cutoffs into these like amazing. I'm looking at some of them now, like really cool stuff. So woods or combinations that we wouldn't have thought of, but we found a way to use other people's scraps, or she has. It's really exciting seeing what she does with, other people's garbage.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I've seen the earrings. Like I said, I've been following you guys forever, and I'm very familiar with everything you guys do. And the earrings are spectacular. I've even done some earrings, kind of biting off your style.
Yeah.
Definitely not to the level that you do it, but um, yeah, I definitely really appreciate everything you guys do in your work. And it's kind of nice that you have both sides of the coin, where Marika does the more practical cutting boards, earrings, things that kind of sell, and then Sarah, you do this more sculpted pieces, the artistic
Mhm.
pieces. So you kind of, when you do those shows, you have a nice variety for
Oh,
people
yeah.
to choose from.
We also, it's
Um,
important for us to, when we do our shows, to have a really wide price point, because we want everybody, to be able to purchase something if they want to. So even though we sell at
a
higher
hundred
end
percent.
art shows, we still want items, that people can gift or buy for themselves. because we want people to have our art and our pieces in their homes as well.
Absolutely. And I've done plenty of shows myself, and I have that same philosophy. I like to have low end items for anyone to just come and grab, people who want to support but can't really afford a high priced item. And then I have the higher priced items as well. I just want everyone to kind of walk away with something from my table. Um, so yeah, I can
So
definitely understand that.
something that I really appreciate when we're at shows and we can, stand in our space after it's all set up and beautiful and all of our stuff is on display. While Marika and I both make very different items, like we have within our business, we each have our niche, but everything in our space looks like it belongs together. I mean, we share a maker's mark. It's not Sarah's piece, it's not
Mhm.
Marika's piece. And it's something that I really enjoy that just because we share the same tools and materials and working space, while we don't always collaborate on the same piece, it's still part of a cohesive body of work, and I really appreciate that, and I'm always, like, just seeing, my giant framed burl piece and then the propagation station and then the earrings that came from it, like, it's so fun to see how that threads between, like, the different things that we do and that we enjoy making. It's
And
it's always really
we
fun.
make a point to explain to people too that, we start with the largest, nastiest burl cap, and then we break it down slowly, slowly, so you can see within our products where it's all gone. And we pride ourselves in having as little waste as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I can't ever tell which one of you makes something. Everything
That's good,
really
that's
blends
good.
together really well. Like I said, I had no idea that Sarah was the one doing the butterflies. I thought both of you were doing them. Um, I know that Marika's more involved in the business because I see her more on the Instagram. I see her working with the tools. I don't see Sarah as much. So I do know that you're Marika's more the hands-on
I'll
type
keep the face of it.
of this
What's
stuff,
so
but
funny though is because
I
Sarah is probably in the shop like so much more than I am. It's insane. She is in the shop. She spends so
yeah,
much more
well,
time in here than I do. But it's just like, who's recording and so yeah, that's kind of funny.
Well, Marika's got such a good touch with social media. I kind of just like once she got involved and she got, started making the reels and like the silliest reels. She would just have an instinct for it and get 3 million views on something so stupid. Like, why would I mess with
it's
that?
always
Like, she's
the ridiculous
old.
ones.
I'll post stories sometimes, but that's it. Let Marika do her job.
Yeah.
You get burnt out on it though,
No,
I'm telling you.
yeah, it's tough posting every day.
Yeah,
And
I
finding
got
the
really
time to
burnt
take
out.
pictures and
Yeah. Well, and I've talked to other people about this too is like sometimes I just want to go and I just want to make something. And I don't want to record the whole
yeah,
process and I don't want to move the camera 3 times and then edit it. And it's like the amount of time, extra
yeah,
time that it takes and it just slows your process and you're thinking about all these other things
100%.
like what angle and it just really messes with your creative process. So sometimes it's
It
it's like
does.
do I really want to record this or do I just want to make something?
That's the hang up I have. I've tried recording things and doing stuff. I trip over the camera or it falls or I'm doing things that aren't necessarily safe because the camera's in the way. It's and then like you try so hard, it takes 4 times as long to work on a simple project because you're recording it, and then you'll post it and you'll get like 2 views, and it's
Yeah.
put
Yeah. I
so much
mean,
effort in. It's
dealing with the algorithm too, it's like after a while, I was just kind of like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And if people like it, great. If they don't, they don't. But I cannot spend my mental like space on trying to figure out, what time to post and how long of a video and all that. It's just too much.
it gets very tiring. But unfortunately, it's a necessary evil when you're running a business.
Yeah.
You kind of need those views and you need that algorithm pushing you and getting your name out there. So I
Yeah.
get why people have to sit there and do it, even if they don't want to.
Yeah.
I know that you guys recently moved and you have your so-called dream shop that you built. I actually saw something today from Sara saying how you don't really like your shop space or you're not
No,
used to it yet.
it was me. So,
Oh, I'm confusing you guys again.
I know sometimes I have to like preface and say who's actually talking. So we have our new space, and it's probably 4 times as big as the space that we had before. And we're getting new tools, but I don't know. It's taken me a while to find my groove again. For whatever reason, I also have started like another new business venture, and it just kind of took precedence. And what's funny is that we have all this new space, and I really do not like working in the space when she's in it. Um, just because like she's kicking up dust that I'm not, you know what I mean? Like it's not that we're next to
Yeah.
each other, but it's just it's loud. I just don't enjoy it. So kind of working in here when she's not in here. So figuring out that for me it's better if I work in the shop during the day, and then I can kind of just I work differently than she does too, and I'm kind of like ADHD. I'm all over the place. I start one thing and then I do another. So just getting in this space and kind of finding my groove again. It's been hard, but I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's I since we moved into this new space, I'm doing significantly more power carving than I used to. And it really does. It's noisy and dusty,
Dusty.
and you
Hate it.
have to be wearing a respirator in here when I'm doing it, even though we have a phenomenal dust collector that does a really great job. It collects probably 90% of it. That last 10%, especially with all these nasty exotics, like if you ever worked with desert ironwood. It is the worst smelling
Oh,
wood in the whole wide world. It is literally like bad breath in the morning after not brushing your teeth for days. Like it's
yeah.
the worst smelling. And I make a lot of butterflies out of desert ironwood. So I wouldn't want to
Wow.
be in here either.
I can definitely relate to you guys because I used to work professionally in a wood shop as my day job for many years. And in the shop, there was two other guys. There was another woodworker who ran the saws and the shaper machine and stuff with me. The other guy was just a guy who sanded all day. But it's extremely hard to work in an environment where you're trying to focus on something and there's dust being kicked in your face and you have to wear headphones and the dust collectors going, and it is very tiring dealing with another person's personality all day, and you both work slightly different. So I can definitely relate and understand the frustration of that. Um, and the
Yeah,
power
and
carving, I mean, it's loud and grating, it's grinding. It can get
yeah, and
irritating.
then I put my earbuds in and I literally cannot hear anything. It's like I can't communicate, like I'm every sense is effectively dimmed. And she can't say anything to me. I get kind of frustrated because I have to like unpack my whole head every time she wants
Yeah.
to come. And also, she scares the shit out of me every time she walks into the garage because my senses are gone. Like one, I'm focused, but two, like I cannot hear
Yeah.
anything. So every time it's like I jump so bad, and like I know she feels bad that it happens, and it's just like I don't know what would be better, like flashing the lights to tell me you're here, or just having a body appear. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
terrifying.
How many how many butterflies have you destroyed by her scaring you?
You know what? It's not that. It's actually the butterflies are surprisingly robust because I get flung across the shop all the time by my different sanding things. Like if I don't have a death grip on them, they just like fly and
Yeah.
they hold up pretty well.
I'm also very curious how the butterfly became your kind of trademark now. It's like it's
Yeah.
become your like iconic thing.
Yeah. So I was
And how
actually
many have you actually made?
oh, that's a really good question and I have no idea. We probably have like 30 of them it's now.
You probably made what, like 60?
Probably.
Yeah.
So something that's weird about me and the way I like to use wood is like for a very long time, I never wanted to make anything that was figurative, like, and that didn't represent a real thing in real life. I liked pure abstraction and textures and colors and patterns found within the wood and different combinations. And there was one day I was making mirrors, and the way I make mirrors is I cut a book match out of a slab or a burl cap or something, and then I cut them into a circle, and that's basically how I make them. And then I opened up the book match, and when I opened them up, it looked like butterfly wings. And I had like our whole workspace. I had like 6 mirrors going, and I was like, huh, this kind of look like butterflies. And I was like, I'll give that a try. That looks interesting. And I, I made a couple of them, and then I was like, I can't stop. It was such a good way of using thin pieces or small pieces, um, pieces that were cut-offs from larger burl pieces I was doing, and, the framed burls that I started out doing and had some really good success with, the sales for those have stopped, pretty much dead. So I was like, I have this huge collection of burl that wanted to find something to do with, and this just was so inspirational for me. Um
I think I can, when I speak to it, like she makes, the vases and the mirrors, and I mean, I guess they kind of get mundane at a certain point. And I feel like when she works on the butterflies, it's always new, because she can shape them differently, or she can mix the woods together. And she literally never gets tired of making them
I never get tired of making them.
so far.
At first,
Nice.
the first probably 20 or 30 that I made, I was strictly working with live edge because and that's still like where I want to like my preference, but I have so much cool exotic wood that's not live edge, or I've got cutoffs from the mirrors or whatever I was making. And now I'm starting to explore like the entire form. So like shaping the edge and profiles of the wings while also not like letting the like not wasting any of the wood. Um so like taking the shape and really pushing it to different extremes because I'm not when I do this I'm not worried about trying to preserve the live edge character like when I do have a live edge burl cap. Um so this has opened up a whole new possibility, and that's probably been the last 20 butterflies I've made have been me just drawing on the wood until I get a shape that I like, and then when I'm carving it, I can push the tips in different directions, and curve them differently, and then when I glue them up, they always look a little bit different the way I didn't necessarily expect it to. So the wood is just presenting itself. The more I do this, the more I learn about the wood and what I like in these forms that I'm creating. It's just I want to try that next thing. I need to try the next thing, the next wood combination. Um, I
So
want
the next thing that we have in the plans is a collab.
Yeah,
So
I'm so excited.
so I'm going to, in a large, well, not a larger form, but how I make my earrings, I'm going to make basically larger
Mhm.
blanks with my smaller pieces, and then she's going to turn those into the butterfly wings.
Yeah, so we're gonna get like
That's
these
really cool.
really intricate and colorful glue ups and whatever her mind's eye
Yeah.
is seeing, and then I get it, and then I can shape it and figure out what I want to do with it. Like what kind of butterfly does it want to be? I just have, and I have a million
Yeah.
ideas. I'm so inspired by these shapes. I want to make mobiles. I want to make installations. I want to, make them closed up and then opening. Like, I don't know. I'm so inspired by this new direction that the work has been taking. There's
That's
so
great.
much fun.
I love the fact that you guys are trying to collab on that. I think Marika has an incredible eye for how the patterns and the different color combinations of wood goes together. Um, the wood earrings are, like I've mentioned before, they're incredible. They have these bright pops of color and the contrast. They just go really well. And I think that's a great idea that you can turn those into the butterfly wings. And one thing I really admire about Sarah's uh, carving skills is, you do something that's incredibly difficult to achieve in carving. You not only have this beautiful, delicate wing, you have those different angles and the different sweeps, and you do that so flawlessly. But what makes it even more challenging is that you duplicate it to a mirror image,
Yes.
and you have both of them look exactly the same. That is incredibly difficult, having that symmetry. And hats off to you. That takes an incredible amount of time. Um, and I'm just
They're
kind of
they
curious how
they're
you
not
go
always
about
that
it.
I will just say that.
No, but they're definitely very accurately close to the blind eye. I know nothing's gonna be perfect, but
They're
I'm
way better
curious
than
to know,
ours,
do
I'll
you,
take that.
It's hard, and then I'm halfway through a carving, I'm like, "Why am I doing this?" Like, I forgot how I carved it.
do you work on one wing first and then the second wing, or do you kind of have both wings and you do a little bit here and then a little bit on that wing to kind of match
Yeah.
them out?
Um, so I start with my book match that I cut out on the bandsaw.
Hmm.
So I cut it out, and there's sequential slices from the slab or the whatever it is that I'm processing. Um, and then I cut out the shape on the bandsaw. I do them individually. I used to stack them and cut them, but that was ended up being more work than just cutting one wing, tracing it on the other, and then going from there. And then I used to do the rough carving straight through with one wing and then replicate it with the other. And sometimes I still do that if it's a small one. But what I found works even better, that's easier, so I don't forget like the process. Because it's actually, I really try to remember what my thought process was with, am I pushing this back? Am I pulling that forward? Like what am I trying to achieve with this wing? So what I do is I carve the front of one wing and then put it next to me or even on my leg so I can look at it while I'm carving the other one. And then I carve the front of the other one. And then I turn it over and then I carve the back of one and then the back of the other. And that has actually made it a lot easier and a lot less fatiguing to think about and try and hold in my head like, well, I need to start on this side and then I need to start over there and I'm trying to achieve this effect. Because I'll forget, if I'm doing a bigger
Yeah.
butterfly and I carved the front and back, like, by the time I get there, it's like, "Oh my god, I don't remember what I was thinking."
Yeah.
You have a lopsided butterfly.
Yeah, it happens.
Little broken wing butterfly.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good question.
Yeah,
It
because
is something that's
I do a lot of carving, and I tend to get hung up on making things very symmetrical if I can. So I know how challenging that is. I don't do a whole lot of power carving. I mostly use a knife or gouges and stuff, but um I, I would imagine that it's even more difficult using like a die grinder, which I'm assuming you use,
actually
because the angles that you need to get
yeah,
from left to right. The machine's
um
gotta get in the way, or the tool's gotta get in the way.
So I don't even own a die grinder. That's probably what I want to ask for my birthday. I have a mini angle grinder that I use. It's a super cheap brand, and I won it on a free giveaway on Instagram. But this little guy is like the best invention
Oh,
ever.
wow.
It's got like a little burr on it, but it's
Yeah,
powerful enough that I never shut it off. Like it never like like I can't push too hard on it. Um, and it's easy enough to hold in one hand to control it really easily, and then the wings I can hold in the other hand and very easily and safely carve. But
interesting.
yeah, this is my go-to. I use this on the
Yeah,
spoons
that's
too.
a cool little machine.
Yeah,
That's right, you guys
it's a
do
good little
spoons, and one thing I saw recently, you guys did a gigantic fork and spoon set,
Yeah, we actually worked on that a little bit
which was
together.
really cool.
Yeah, that was one of the first projects when I very first started woodworking that I was like, I want to make the most ridiculous, comically humongous spoon and fork set just because it's funny and I wanted it to be out of really fancy wood. So I got a walnut slab and I made that. And now I didn't know what I was doing. It was when I cut them out on the bandsaw, it was the first time I had ever used a bandsaw by myself. I had taken introductory like safety class. I did, and I didn't know that it made the really high pitched squealing sound, and that's totally normal. It scared me, but yeah, a giant like a 4-foot spoon and fork was like one of the very first projects I ever did, and I just recently replicated it for an art show. So yeah, the originals are
Yeah.
hanging in our dining room.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, they came out great. The ones I saw.
Yeah, I tried hand carving the first set, and that was a no go. I I um I have issues with like inflammation, and I had carpal tunnel surgery years ago, and so that's why I do the power carving. It's easy on my hands. I pretty much refuse to do any hand sanding, so I have like every sanding gadget under the sun. Um, which is great because I like getting a really smooth finish. I haven't gotten much into texturing the surface, probably because I just want the character of the wood to show through. So I like really smooth, silky surfaces so you can see all
Yeah,
of the
I
chatoyance.
I feel like the texturing on a highly figured would kind of diminish the look of the wood.
Oh, it would break my heart.
Um,
It really would.
yeah, I think your best bet is trying that out on something simplistic like a piece of walnut or
Yeah.
cherry or something, um, just to kind of get an idea of what it looks like. But yeah, I can't imagine you have this like zebra wood and you're just trying to add dimples to it, and
Less is more.
Yes.
yeah, 100%. Marika, um, you have no interest in doing any of the carving.
She's asked me before. I mean, I think I would be open to learning, but I don't want to make butterflies. Like I like having our own things. I will never be able to make what she makes at the level that she makes, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Um, if I learned how to do carving or power carving, I mean, I honestly think if I wanted to do carving, I would be more interested in like the stuff that you do, like hand carving. Um,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like all the dust from the power carving. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy having to wear a respirator. Um, and I
Yeah.
think the slower, more methodical of like whittling, I think I might enjoy that. But maybe
Yeah, but then you have to sharpen your tools.
yeah, I don't know
Ugh.
about that either. I'm kind of a lazy woodworker.
I know. Bring on the power tool. I don't know. I would love you to
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
spoons.
Yeah.
I would love to teach you how to do spoons, and not the fancy ones with the glue ups and things, but like basic spoons sell actually really well at our shows.
Yeah.
And I would rather spend my time making butterflies than a basic spoon, which I could teach you how to build,
Yeah.
how to make.
I I don't love carving spoons. I've done it. I think they're kind of a pain in the ass.
Well, we power carve them,
Um,
so
We power cook them, and you got to have the right
that's
sanding.
true. Yeah.
You got to have the sanding things to make the bowls smooth.
Yeah. See, I have I don't have the sanding attachments. I mean, I'm sure I could figure something out, but anytime I've made a spoon, I've either mostly bandsawed it out or I've hand carved it with a spoon gouge,
Hmm.
and those things talk about sharpening, those things suck. Like
Yeah.
they are so difficult to sharpen. Um, so I end up just sanding my life away on a spoon that I can maybe sell for like $20.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
that's
not
the thing
worth
too
it.
is like the price point, the amount of time that you spend making that item and then, somebody wants to whatever they want to pay for it. So
Yeah.
the power carving for us speeds that process up, which makes, our margin of profit
Yeah,
be a little bit better.
I would literally never carve if I didn't have all of the sanding gadgets. And I'm grateful enough that I've either won like raffles on Instagram. I won a really big giveaway from Klingspor. that just supplied. I still haven't even used some of the things that came in that prize pack. Like, I would
Yeah.
not carve if it wasn't for all of the sanding things that I have. Straight up, because I don't have the patience and it's too expensive. Um,
Yeah.
I like the immediate gratification of power tools.
Yeah. So do I. But I can also appreciate the slower
Oh yeah, there's
whittling and
no
carving.
dust.
Yeah.
It's quiet. There's a satisfaction of
Yeah,
like,
but the thing is a caveat. There's no dust, but there's wood chips everywhere. They're
Yeah.
in your socks and your pockets, and you trail them through the house, and you get yelled at, and you're just pulling out wood chips everywhere. They're in your hair, and
So that's when
it's amazing.
you get your spouse or your partner to do woodworking, and then they can't complain about the others.
yeah, whose is it?
See how
Yeah.
that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not as lucky as you guys. No, I get yelled at by everyone in the house. Yeah, what's this wood chip doing on the floor? Sorry. Who are your biggest inspirations? You guys both have very different styles and products that you make, but is there
I,
anyone that inspires you?
I know mine. And this is just strictly for earrings. I have other, woodworkers that I admire, but um, Brambles Woodwork. His name is Jared. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name because I will butcher it. Um, so I came across his earrings years ago, and a lot of what I do has been straight from inspiration from his work. He That's all he does is makes earrings and some necklaces, and all natural wood, no dyes or stains. And if you haven't seen his work, go check it out. He's absolutely amazing. And he lives in Michigan, and I have family. And so we were visiting family, and we had the opportunity to go and meet him and go in his shop. And how many square feet do you think it is?
Oh, I don't know, but it's not even as big as a bedroom. It's literally
It's
like
like
a
a bathroom.
closet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
It's like a walk-in
tiny.
closet.
It's so tiny because all he has is basically like a belt sander, a drill press, and a bandsaw. And the stuff that comes out of his shop
Wow.
is absolutely amazing. He makes full time, and then his wife does like the marketing and the other side of it. And that's what they do full time. And he was just extremely kind. And I loved his work. I was inspired by it. And even today, like I was making earrings, and I was like, I just went to his page and I just started scrolling, and I was like, okay, just getting some ideas, because sometimes I just I'm like, where do I start? Um, so that's my biggest inspiration for my earrings is Jared.
Oh, very
Yeah,
cool. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say. Well, one, I'm really bad with names. Um,
That's okay. So am I.
I watch a lot of woodworking YouTube where I learn like how to like the order of operations, but I can't say it's very inspirational for me. I think where I draw a lot of inspiration are from like the Australian Wood Review, like those compendium accounts that post like the best in the world.
Mhm.
Like that's where I get a lot of inspiration. Like a wood review that comes from Australia, I love their Instagram. Um, and then there's the Krenov School. Like I'm fascinated by like the furniture and things that they make. But really, it's anyone who uses interesting wood. I get just caught up in looking at wood, and especially if it's unique or figured or colorful or burl. Anybody, I get tired of scrolling down Instagram and it's like people talking into their camera or like some random ads. So I
Yeah.
look at a lot of people who are selling wood, um,
Yeah.
and I just let my imagination go wild. Like if I could buy that, what would I make? Yeah. So I don't have
There's
that one person like she does.
there's um two people I'm gonna recommend if you don't already know them, which you might. They're both uh power carving sculptors. There's Blake from BM Sculptures.
Oh yeah, I follow
I'm
him
not
on
sure if
Instagram.
you know him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
His stuff is great. But one of the others who your style kind of closely sort of matches, or I think you would appreciate his style a lot, is Jonas Olson.
Yep, I watch his on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his stuff is incredible. I mean, I love his style. I love his artwork, his process, everything.
Well, yes, and his work, there's so much whimsy and movement in the things that he carves.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm actually
And I
honestly,
love that whimsical aspect.
yeah, I'll be completely honest. I'm a pretty insecure carver. I think it's because I was a 2D artist most of my life, like drawing and painting. And then when I started doing woodworking, it was like it's 3D, but it's not the same as like subtracting material kind of thing. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Um, I have plans and ideas for branching out outside of the butterflies. Now that I'm getting better with the tools that I have, I'm more comfortable. I can see the process better, from a flat piece of wood or a chunk of wood to what I want it to look like. But I'm definitely an insecure carver, and I think of somebody like BM Sculptures or Jonas Olson, and it's like how their brain works and looking at a block and being able to know where to cut to subtract material. Like I know that they're like, oh, just draw a template and cut to your line. It's like, yeah, okay.
You know what? You you picked one of the most complicated forms to carve. It's
But it's
so
a glue up though.
I know, but like the actual act of carving it, it's such a simplistic design, but it's not at the same time. And because it's so simplistic, you have no room for hiding anything. So if you make a mistake, you either have to scrap it or readapt. So because it's so simple, there's no room for error. A lot of these other carvers, when they carve big things, um, there's so much detail that they can kind of hide some of the mistakes behind
Yeah.
that detail. So that's, I think you say you're, what'd you say? You're not a,
Insecure.
I'm an insecure
you're,
carver.
you're, you definitely should not be insecure because you're doing something that is way, way challenging for a lot of people to actually achieve. Um, just because of its simplicity, and you just make it look so flawless and so organic, which is another really challenging thing too, because a butterfly is a realistic animal that you're trying to
Hmm.
create, and you definitely capture that, which is incredibly difficult.
Well,
I've
I
carved
appreciate.
animals, I've carved bears, and like tried to do realistic things, and they never come out right.
Yeah, that's also another reason why I avoided anything that is figurative. I avoided it for so long, but the butterflies, they were just calling to me, and this experience, just talking to you and the reception I've gotten, like I said, I am getting more confident and wanting to try more things. I also don't want to waste wood. It's like, oh, I might waste a burl. It might
Yeah,
have, I have so much wood. Like, someday we're going to do a tour
yeah,
of all the wood that we have. But like, I also don't want to waste such a precious material. But it's not a waste if I learn
yeah.
something.
One thing someone once told me, everyone has that fear, like, oh, I don't want to waste the piece of wood, I don't want to ruin it. And a guy I used to work with always said, "Hey, it grows on trees." So like, um, yeah, he used to say a few other things too. One of my other favorites is when we would mess something up pretty badly that it was, we'd have to start over. He would say, "Hey, at least we're not doctors and we didn't kill anybody." So he had a way of putting things into perspective to make things, a little easier in the moment. And one other thing that I saw recently was, I guess people not necessarily stealing your idea, or maybe just not giving you the credit. Um,
You know what? I've been thinking about this a lot since it happened. I will say there are not many people out there making butterflies. I'm not saying there is nobody else, and I certainly did not invent it. A friend of ours sends us. There's a George Nakashima butterfly, like it's something that it's from the 50s, 60s. But I will say that on Instagram there are not very many people making butterflies the way I am, and somebody did, and they claimed they didn't know. I'm not going to make any inferences that they purposefully didn't acknowledge inspiration, but I'll also acknowledge I can't remember where I see things or who did what. There's another wood carver,
Sure.
spoon carver, who does something very similar to this. I don't remember her name. Like I know what her stuff looks like, but it would take me hours to figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
if I can inspire somebody to try wood in a different way, think about it differently, that's great. And I would love to hear about it. If not, if they forget, I hope I'm just gonna assume that it's innocent. They forgot and it wasn't malicious. But like, I love that people get inspired. I've seen a lot of people doing the framed burl art, and some people are totally taking off with it.
Mhm.
And I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, that looks like Estrapala," and I was like, "Good for you. I hope sales continue." They stopped for 2 years ago for us
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
those.
Oh boy. Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sharing how I do the vases. That's one of my secrets. There are some weird like things I have to do to make the vases.
Yeah, but we've had people that say, "Oh, I've never seen that before and I'd like to try it." And it's like, "Well, I mean, it's not ours, like go for it. Be our
yeah.
guest."
Yeah.
And if you're
Yeah.
successful at it, fantastic. But nothing that we do is, trademarked. It's, we put it out into
Of
the
course. Yeah.
internet. So, but it's like, if I'm going to look at, like, let's say Bramble's, earrings, and I see a design and I want to, like, literally replicate it. I mean, I'm going to shoot him a message. I'm going to, say, "Hey, I was inspired by so and so." I mean, it's just kind of common courtesy, I think. But, um,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, we're in a world where in the woodworking and wood carving community that everyone just kind of rips each other off at
yeah.
times. And I don't necessarily think it's out of malice. I think it's just we're all skilled in our own right, and we see an idea and we say, "Hey, I think I can do that. I want to try that."
Yeah.
Um, you know, in the carving world specifically, I mean, there's a ton of people that do the exact same style carvings because
Mhm.
there's tutorials online from, well-known wood carvers, and you see a lot of the same cookie cutter characters. Um, but because everyone has their own type of hand at it, they all slightly come out different.
Mhm.
And then the more skilled carvers um, will tend to copy another carver's idea. And maybe the first one or two of them will be identical, but then eventually you'll start to see their own flair on it and
Mhm.
they'll put their own spin on it and they'll add their signature details and things like that or that and then they'll try different things in that same form. So I do appreciate when people make it their own and not
Yeah, and I mean,
necessarily tend to rip
to be
things
honest,
off.
that's how they teach you to make art in art school. Like you replicate the masters. We have Instagram.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that everybody posting on Instagram is a master. Like we're not Leonardo, but like you learn
Yeah.
by replicating something that you like. So you learn a new technique and a new form, or even a new strategy. Order of operations or workflow. The thing that bothers me
Yeah.
though that I have seen at least twice in the years we've been active on Instagram. We talked about earlier that we have a very diverse body of work because there's two of us, but we also just have different ideas. Whatever. We make a lot of stuff. There were some people who copied everything we made, not necessarily the wood that we're using, but they would make a cake knife. And then that's
It,
when,
it was like, as we were introducing new items, like 2 weeks later, they would introduce that new item to their inventory. And it was so
Mm.
obvious. And it was hurtful at that point because it
yeah,
was
it
like,
was repeated like
Yeah.
our half of our product line was being replicated by another maker who was not interacting with us or crediting us at all. Like at that point,
Yeah,
that's a bit much.
we blocked
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense too, because this is also a business for you guys. And, it's part of, I'm sure, your livelihood. And, you know, you wouldn't want someone else out there maybe making a mockery of what you do or kind of associating your name with their work or their name with your work because y- your skill level is up here and theirs could be down here. And then people will start to associate both of them together and start thinking your quality is bad. And so I could definitely see where there's
Or
issues
or use it as
and also not giving
inspiration.
the
Do something
credit.
else. Like you don't need to hang your propagation stations with chains, like gold chains, the way I do. Like use a string. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Leather strap or do something to
Yeah,
make it
something to make it a
different.
little bit different. But when it was like 5 different and new products in a row, it was like, this is a
Yeah. That's a little,
this is straight up copying our ideas.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
So I want Sarah to show you. So she's been doing the butterflies, and she kind of stepped out of her comfort zone a little bit with a little.
So I
Ooh.
love
I think
making
I know what it
boxes.
is.
It's
It's
just
a yes
a,
box.
it's just
Yeah.
a little box. But this is what I was talking about. Like I make boxes and I love they're terrible sellers, but I still love making them. Um so I made this
Yeah.
box
I agree.
and I wanted to put hinges in it. So that means the walls were really chunky. And I was like, I'm gonna try carving this. And it was such an emotional roller coaster as I was carving it. Because one, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just was thinking pillowy in my head the whole time I was carving. And it was such an emotional roller coaster. I was like, I just ruined this beautiful piece of Cocobolo. It's gone, it's dead, but it actually came out really cool. And I'm very excited to do more. I was very happy with
Yeah, I love it. I think it looks great.
What I
It kind of
appreciate,
looks like a mushroom.
yeah,
yeah, it has a certain playful quality to it. And it also has feet, so that's
Yeah.
super fun.
what I find interesting
Oh,
is
that's really cool.
I feel like a lot of her work is she is an artist through and through, and so she looks at things way different than I do. Um, and for me, and maybe I don't know, this doesn't make any sense, but this has like whimsy to me. And
Yeah.
I mean, the butterflies are very elegant. I don't know. Now granted the big spoon and fork, those are whimsy too. But but I don't know, it's just like, the boxes that she normally makes, they're really, really fancy and the clean lines and so this was just like fun. I don't know. And then I was like, "Oh, maybe people will buy our boxes now."
I could never charge enough.
I
I
think
made
they
this to
might.
go in gallery. I'm putting this in an art show for
Yeah.
a theme that's tiny things, so it's tiny. But
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't.
awesome.
People couldn't pay me enough money. Like this took too much time. Not only is it a box, but I spent half a day carving and sanding it. Like I don't have the market audience to pay what that's worth. I'll still
Yeah,
try, but it's not gonna work.
I've only seen those types of boxes be sold as ring boxes or yes boxes, and depending on who sells them, they can fetch a pretty good price. But I think you have to have that kind of name. The only one I know of that makes and sells them probably successfully is Nick Offerman.
Well,
Um, yeah,
Sarah
but for
Stroud, London
obvious reasons.
Offerman, we're the same, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're no
our
Ron
book is coming
Swanson.
out soon, so
Are you really writing a book?
no.
No.
Oh, I would say that's got to be pretty cool. You know what? That's probably a good idea for you guys to do like not like an instructional book, but like an artistic
I think we could
book,
write
like
a
a
book about
portfolio of your work.
how to have a woodworking business with your spouse.
You know what?
Yeah.
I write for my day job. I really don't want to write another book. I write. I spent like 8 hours on my computer today writing. I don't want to do it anymore.
One thing I give you guys a lot of credit for, and I do it as well, is the craft shows. They are exhausting, and you guys do a fair bit of them. I only do a handful a year towards the season,
We
but
scaled back.
um,
So
yeah,
we
they
used
they got
to.
Yeah,
too much.
we used to do, like, when we first started, I would go to, like, any show that was an option. I would, set up whatever, and we didn't have the right audience, and, it just didn't make financial sense to spend an entire day to set up and, make however many in sales. And so at this point, we kind of looked at our business and our business plan, and we are only going to like high end fine market art shows because those are the people that are going to spend the money typically on what we sell. And we still have lower price items, but when we were going
Yeah.
to shows and the guy next to me is selling a cutting board for $20, like, yeah, I'd buy it too. I can't compete with that, and I'm
Yeah.
not, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
We
No,
We've
perfectly
also had
understandable.
really good success in galleries. Like we started putting our stuff into more galleries, and that's been a really great source of like, oh, gallery 103 just sent us a check. We sold a box there. Woo! Apparently people there will
Wow.
buy our box.
Yeah, your stuff is definitely gallery worthy, I would say. Not all woodworking can fall in that category, but you definitely have a unique style, um, and a wide variety of artistic looking type of items
Yeah,
that I could see would do well in the gallery.
and that's been also something we've learned over time is like we have to be selective about the shows that we go into, and we have to really push the unique touch that we have. So we've veered very heavily into the art
Hmm.
of the woodworking, and we have very few utilitarian things. We don't really bring cutting boards and charcuterie boards. They're heavy and big. And they also
And they
don't
don't
sell
sell.
well. People want if they want to spend the money on it, they want to order it custom.
Wow. You know, what's funny for me, cutting boards are my bread and butter at craft shows. So I have to bring tons of them. Anything else, anything
Yeah,
artistic
but
or is very hit or miss. They don't like boxes. I can't sell boxes at all.
they're
Um, I
hard.
I I can't even sell them for like $30, $40, like a really nice looking box. They just won't sell. Um, so I need the utilitarian type of items to
Yeah.
sell.
Nope, our
Um,
bread and butter, the
so
the earrings and the propagation stations. I mean, those are our bread and butter. And spoons if I have them.
And we honestly,
yeah,
we love to sell the higher price, the artwork. But we say we'll nickel
yeah,
and dime them. I mean, I'll sell 30 propagation stations to pay to pay the booth fee.
yeah,
Oh, it's all our cutoffs from the art
yeah.
piece.
I mean, so sometimes that's what you have to do. I mean, um, I have a laser that I got a few years ago, and that it doesn't sell a ton of stuff, but it definitely helped pay off the booth fees and any other incidentals that I need throughout the show, getting something to eat, or if I want to buy something from another vendor, because I like to support other vendors when I'm
Oh,
there
yeah.
too, if I can. But so I'll make keychains with it, or I'll have engraved. I got into making the engraved maps of Lord of the Rings, and I'm a huge Zelda nerd, so
Grr.
you know, I got the. You'd be surprised how much Zelda stuff actually sells.
Hey, I
eh,
love it. Like, do it.
yeah, like I got the little Korok right there, hanging on the wall, and here's another Zelda stained glass thing, a
I
Majora's
mean, I
Mask.
still make cutting boards. I enjoy making them. I really do. They just don't sell. And so a lot of times I'll get people that do custom orders,
Hmm.
and they'll say, I
Yeah,
want an end grain cutting board like that's a specific size for their countertop. And I am like, all day I will take those orders. But for me to just put out cutting boards and carry them back and forth, um, we just don't sell them at our
it's
at our shows.
yeah. I have two giant tote bins filled with cutting boards that I have, and that's just the two boxes I have to bring because they sell. Not to mention whatever else I need to bring, boxes, and because I like to have, like I said, a wide variety of items. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
there.
shows that
It's
we're
like
doing now
two
are
hundred pounds.
Yeah, we're doing most of the shows we do now are 2 full days, sometimes 3, and the amount of inventory that you have to have is insane. And it is
Insane.
it's I mean, honestly, what we
Yeah.
say is we build stuff all year long to plan for 3 shows a year, basically.
3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. They'll say, why are things so expensive? Or, oh, it's only one day. I'll talk to my dad. My dad's a funny guy. He comes with me to every show. He likes helping out and gives me a ride and things like that. But he'll say, I'll tell him like, oh, I made this much. And he's like, oh, that's good for a day. And I'm like, it's not one day. It's like months and months and months worth of time. And if you really boil it down, I probably made way less than minimum wage.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then we're splitting it. We don't split it, but it's like, it's
Yeah, you guys are splitting it.
Well, and people don't realize, like, the booth fee, we bought
Yeah.
tables, we bought a tent, we bought, all this stuff
The
goes
chairs and
into
yeah.
it. Yeah, when we travel for shows, we get a hotel, we get a U-Haul. All those things get factored in. We're away from, our daughter for 3 days. Like, these are
Yeah.
all things that people don't think about, and it's like, I mean, you're gonna complain for, a $25 item, like
Yeah. You're gonna haggle over it for
Yeah.
$5. Like, come on. You know. Yeah, I got to that point too because, I have a daughter as well, pretty young, and I was doing these shows where they were local, so they weren't a big deal. It was just a few hours, but it's still taking a Saturday or a
Yeah,
Sunday away from me, from my family,
Mhm.
to make a few $100 at
yeah,
best. And I was like, it's just not worth doing. Like
yeah.
I'm not gaining any inquiries or custom orders really. Maybe I'll get one if I'm lucky. And
Mhm.
again, it's for like 30 or $40. It's not anything to write home about. Um, and then, you're there all day. So you buy food or you buy something to drink and you're spending money while you're out trying to earn money. And then there's the booth fee. And it's just, sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. And I think when you're doing these markets, you take that calculated risk. You just kind of have to know, okay, this might be worth it, or you definitely know it's worth it. Um, there's two shows that I do every year that for me are always worth it.
Yeah.
They're my two best shows. So I prepare mainly just for those two. And if I'm feeling in the mood to do another show or two, I'll do them. But
We did a show last year and we heard great things about it and we were really excited. It was a 3-day show and we traveled to it. So we got a hotel for, with 2 nights, a U-Haul, and we get there and it is, I'm not kidding, 100 degrees the whole weekend. And like,
It was a fall show. It was in like late September or early October.
and so nobody came. I mean, it was like deathly hot. And so, and the booth fee was astronomical because it
It
was
was in the St. Louis suburbs,
a
so
highly
it's
rated
very
show.
expensive.
3-day,
wow.
and so we had this huge overhead, and then, I mean, I can't blame people, it was super hot, and so it was like, that's the risk that you take, and
The
so
outdoor shows,
all this outdoor shows, ugh,
but that's where you get to make the money.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I hate the outdoor shows. I had one outdoor show. It was in the middle of November,
Uh-uh.
and
Nuh-uh.
it was actually a really beautiful day, right? It wasn't cold. It was a nice day, and unfortunately, we got hit with a surprise hurricane. The tents were blowing away, and people were panicking. Luckily enough, my stuff's wood and it's heavy, so like
Yeah.
it didn't break or fall off the table. But it was a great show up until that point. I think it was probably one of the best ones I've done up to date, and we missed like the last 3 hours, so I could only imagine how well I would have done if it kept going. But yeah, after that, I was like, no more outdoor shows. I did another one. It was December. I didn't know it was an outdoor show.
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah, we showed up and we're like, what do you mean it's outdoors? There was no heating, no lights. We're like, it's pitch black out. So we all left. And I just completely was like, I'm done doing the outdoor ones. It's not worth it.
Yeah, we definitely do the outdoor ones, but those are the big ones. That's the ones that get 100,000 people come
Yeah.
through, you know.
We have here in New York, I'm not sure how familiar you are with New York City, but there's the Union Square Holiday Market. They do it every year. It's from like I want to say right after Thanksgiving ends up until Christmas. So it's like 20 days that you sign up for. It's a 20-day event. You rent the booth. It's like $30,000 for the booth.
What? I
Yeah,
feel like I've heard somebody talk
it's
about this before, that they did it.
yeah. But your potential to make money there is
Yeah.
Yeah.
through the roof. But you need inventory. You need to staff it every day.
Oh
You need
gosh.
like you have to leave your stuff there. I imagine.
That's a lot.
Yeah. 3
So
days is a max for me.
yeah.
I get
Yeah,
tired.
I mean, that's only really worth it, I think, if you live within the city and you can get there in
And then you
10
don't have to
minutes,
work the
20
rest of the
minutes or so.
year.
Except making all the inventory
I
to
would,
go to that show.
I mean, there's different size booths you can get. I think the cheapest one is like 10 or 15,000,
It's
but it's for
insane.
like it's for like a 4 foot by 5 foot box. Um, and it's outdoors. So you gotta
Oh,
somehow, I think there's heating, but you're still outside and it's
Yeah.
still cold.
Elements.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but people do it and people keep doing it every year, so it must be
Gotta be making that
worthwhile.
money.
Not an easy racket to be in the craft show market.
Definitely not what we imagined that we would be doing at this point in our lives. I mean,
Well, and we're also lucky enough that this isn't our primary source of income.
yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
have a good job that supports
Yeah.
us and keeps a roof over our head, and
We get to play.
we get to play and we get to pay off our cars. You
Buy
know, like
exotic woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are fortunate in that way. And I, the wood that we get to work with too, we know that, it's not attainable for a lot of people because it is very expensive. And like we said, I mean, a lot of this we have,
we happened into.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, we do also have the ability to have this space. We bought this new home for this space, this garage, because it was important for us and our business. And
It's
so,
also a really nice house. Like we love the
yeah,
house too, but this was a
Yeah,
big house.
that's all right.
We went over budget, and a big part of going over budget for our house was because this is the ideal, close to an ideal wood shop. Except our daughter's bedroom is above us. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
She's not home right now, but
That's that's the main reason I started carving was because my garage right above us was her bedroom. And when she was sleeping and napping, I just couldn't run saws and dust
yeah.
collectors. So I was just like, all right, let me take up carving again, and it just kind of stuck. And I
And
do
even
that
if we don't, you know,
most of the
keep
time.
business for the rest of our lives, and I don't know what that looks like. As we get older and our daughter gets into more activities or whatever that looks like, I don't know. I mean, we'll still have this space and we'll still be able to use it and build things for us or for family.
oh, I am
Yeah,
fully committed in making every piece of furniture we own. That is my life goal.
yeah,
We're gonna be one of those old, like, I'm such an old man. I will build every bit of furniture in our home, and probably for your mother too.
yeah. That's the dream. I have a woodworking bucket list that I want to do. I want to build a sculpted rocker and you know tables and chairs and my background in woodworking professionally was a picture frame maker. So my house is
Oh,
filled with really nice picture frames. Yeah. You can kind of see one in the corner there.
we have a lot of
So
picture frames in our house too.
I know, I kind of hate making them, but there's
yeah. You know what? Like I've made literally thousands of them over the years. It's specifically for museums and art galleries and things like that, and high end art. And I've seen a lot of really nice, rare artwork. Um, so there were a lot of the antique replica type frames
Mm-hmm.
that you would see, those 18th century Italian style frames or the Dutch style frames and things
So
like
would
that,
you
gilded and
would you carve them too?
I didn't do the carving. I did mostly the milling and the glue ups and things like that. Occasionally I did some carving, but they had a guy there who did carving. And a lot of times I would just stand there and watch him for 20 minutes and see how he would do things. And um, I would imagine now I could do it if, you know, I was given a frame to carve. But yeah, I mean, they were quick, those guys. They would just boom, 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 batch it out in like 10 minutes. So I have a particular love for picture frames.
Yeah,
So I can really admire the ones that you guys do.
yeah, I mean, I like most things I make, I like to keep it simple. Like I like the wood to complement whatever it is and let the wood do it. Let the wood, we say this a lot, let the wood do
Yeah,
the work.
let the wood speak for itself. Yeah,
Uh,
that's amazing. Where can everyone find your work? Um, on Instagram, YouTube, Etsy, website? Please share
So you
where
can
they can
find
find you.
us social media, Instagram and Facebook is just Estrapala Woodworking. And then our website is estrapalawoodworking.com. Pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Marika and Sarah, thank you both so much for coming on and sharing your story, your process, and the mindset behind what you're building with Estrapala Woodworking. It's incredibly inspiring to see how you've grown your skills while also building a brand that feels intentional and unmistakably yours. Your work proves that woodworking keeps evolving, that pushing ideas, staying consistent, and trusting your creative instincts can open doors you never expected. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and giving listeners a look behind the scenes of what it takes to grow, not just as makers, but as creative entrepreneurs. And to everyone listening, make sure you check out Estrapala Woodworking to see their incredible sculpted butterflies and everything else they're creating. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Modern Woodcarver Podcast. Thanks.